Hello, now we're playing the relics of Athalen made by Lord Bass. First playable scenario, Dark Clouds over Xioche. So let's start. The invasion of Xioche had been almost as swift as the one Zafira carried out against Gwyndlegard, almost 4 years ago. Emmanuel led the bulk of the Gwyndian army, systematically overtaking city after city, castle after castle. Behind them, Magnus MacAnthony led a second army, securing all the lands recently conquered by Emmanuel, and to the southwest a third army marched forward led by Marvin and Rob Talmac, aiming to rendezvous with Emmanuel at the capital of Xioche. They met only moderate opposition, as each warlord seemed to fight alone, only protecting his own share of the land, leaving the armies of eastern Xioche scattered and easily outnumbered. A trodden path cuts through the thick forest in the Xiochan heartland. It was once a paved road, but 100 years of ground frost and thawing, marching armies, and heavy rains has turned it back into the dirt road it once was, with only fractions of it still paved. Imanuel and Daru ride at the front of the small group marching on the road from the frontier and deeper into the heartland of Xioche. Emmanuel dries the sweat of his forehead. The summer is coming to an end, but out in the open it is still very hot. He feels trapped inside his armor, longing to tear it all off and jump into the nearest stream. He glances at Daru, who is holding up a map. How much further, he says. It's not far, Daru says. We should be near the village before nightfall. Emmanuel nods in reply. They have been on the march for 5 days, scouting ahead to find a suitable location to set up a new forward base, from which they will launch their attacks into the Xiochan heartland. Emily and Felicity are leading the rest of the army, waiting for them to find a good place to set up camp. The capital in the heart of Xioche is the main target of the campaign. The king of Xioche, King Wellon, refuses to talk to Lord Mezengi, and Mezengi has asked Emmanuel to have a personal chat with him. According to their spies, Zafir and Count Tangil returned to Xioche after the attack on Windhill, probably seeking cover behind King Wellon's armies. If Emmanuel gets to King Wellon, he will likely get to Zafira and Tangil as well. But to get to him, he will have to take out the other warlords in the region first. It is evening when they come out of the dense forest. The trees here grow in a more scattered manner, occasionally clumping together like islands in a sea of tall grass. As the road twists and opens up on a clearing, 3 war military tents appear in front of them. Emmanuel orders his men to search them, but luckily they are empty. More of the Xiochan deserters, he thinks to himself. The winds are milder now, and the sun is nearing the horizon. Emmanuel turns his horse around, facing the men riding and marching behind him. Daru, riding at his side, does the same. Alright, let's click some. Okay. We'll see the history section, the scout section we'll read when we start playing. Xioche is one of the oldest kingdoms in the world, with a lineage of kings stretching back 1300 years. In fact, the counting of years in most of the world is based on the Xiochan counting. It was their first king, King Elos, who introduced the first-year calendar, marking his ascendance to the throne as happening in the year 0. Before modern year count, the lands of Xioche formed a part of the Old Kingdom. The western border of the Old Kingdom was marked by the river Concardia, just as Xioche's western border was for hundreds of years, until Zafira launched an attack across the river into the neighbor Argontonia. Here, as in Windelgard, the cities and towns were demolished by the massive earthquake and shockwave during the day of raining rocks. At the borderlands in the west, however, a lot more people survived than in the rest of the country. Here they were only gravely decimated, whereas they were more or less wiped out in the rest of the Old Kingdom. The survivors become a distinct group, absolutely determined to never see such devastation again. The very name of Xioche and the denonym Xiochan comes from the ancient word Xioche, meaning to survive. The lands were quickly repopulated, but where the Xiochans met other tribes, they backed away, wanting to avoid any serious conflict. Xioche grew, slowly accumulating more and more land over hundreds of years and allowing very little influence from abroad, save for technological and military developments. For all of its existence, Xioche was never a big military or economical power. The various warlords had a lot of power over their respective lands, and the king mainly dealt with foreign affairs and negotiating peace between bickering warlords. It was not until Zafira took the throne that Xioche became a true empire, with a lust for new conquests. 15 years ago, Xioche was more or less at civil war. The civilian population was generally spared, but the warlords and their armies fought one another all over the country. Then Zafira, aged only 24 but already a brutal iron-fisted ruler, entered the stage. With her armies and her magical forces, she conquered all of eastern Xioche, uniting it under her rule. She then allied the strongest and most brutal warlord of the west, Count Tengil, and together they marshaled the capital, relieving the weak, aloof king of his duty. Under Zafira's centralized, militarized rule, Xiochans found new pride. As Zafira launched successful attacks into Argotonia in the west and southwest, Sarakar in the east, and Arunglan in the south, the people of Xioche realized how powerful their country was. Zafira became the very symbol of greatness and success. As she directed her iron will against her warlords and foreign foes, she had the people's full support. The swift and successful invasion of Windelgard became the pinnacle of Xiochen imperial pride. Its lands nearly doubled, and the Xiochans found themselves ruling over the country that had always been seen as the mightiest in the region. Therefore, defeat in the Second Windows-Ocean War, when Zafira was captured and her armies humiliated, was a devastating blow to the image Xiochans had of themselves in their country. When Lord Mezengi of Windelgard intervened and personally chose the new king of Xioche, he became the weakest and most hated Xiochan king of all time. For the new king, King Wellon, the coronation became a curse. Lord Mezengi believes that it is because he is so weak that he has decided to house Zafira and Tengil now that they have returned. By associating himself with them and helping them, he would start cleaning his reputation among his people. One might, of course, wonder why the people would like him better than Zafira has returned. If it is Zafira they see as their proper ruler, but Wellon probably has no choice. Midday, somewhere in central Xioche. We are deep into the enemy lands. We need to set up camp before we can call on the girls and the rest of the army. If I have read the map right, there is a small town just around the corner that would be well suited as a base of operations. Perfect, let's head there then, and convince them to lend us their land. Alright. You're in the heartland of Xioche, getting to first base, and it is ripe for the taking. Before your army arrives at the conquest, and the conquest can begin, you must find a location to use as a base of operations. Imanuel and Daru must survive. Take control of the small town to the northeast of you by killing any soldier stationed there. Alright, side quests. Alright, we will read the book Father Garnus' Journal, September 90 AD 1298. Okay, so we'll read this later, and now we must focus on our current task. So let's save. Alright, let's go. West Castle Lagral, east Fexley Hamlet, southeast Fingelham. Those are elite Xiochan halberdiers. You must be careful around them, they're the strongest anti-cavalry soldiers in this part of the world. Alright. This should be too hard. One by one. The town is ours. This shall be our base of operations for now. Now, to get to King Wellon without being overrun by enemy forces, we'll have to take control over both of the Xiochan castles in the region as well as the capital itself. In the west lies Castle Lagral, called home to Lord Geistrix, the leader of the southern regions. His armies are already weakened from the war, and if we bring the war to him personally, we might be able to convince him to change sides. Across the river to the northeast lies Castle Dale, often called the Keep of Xioche. Lord Emyrian, who lives there, arms his men with hand cannons and his defenses are hard to reach. He will be our toughest opponent. And in the heart of these lands lies the capital, where King Wellon resides. He is known to be a defensive commander who would rather have us come to him. Let us hope he proves the reputation true. Alright. The rest of our army will be here soon. Until then, we must build up our base and repel any attacks that may come towards us. Then we'll go to war. Alright, so first things first, we'll build a market. The conquest of Xioche. The time has come to strike at the heart of Xioche and take out King Wellon. To do this, you must defeat both of the warlords in the region and then take the capital itself, where King Wellon hides. All your heroes must survive, defeat Lord Geistrix by raising Castle Lagral and bring Imanuel to him, or convince Lord Geistrix to join you by destroying his camp, then talking to him. Defeat Lord Emyrian and raise Castle Dale to the ground as an example to King Wellon. Alright, so we have some books, which we'll read later. Let's repel the first attacks. Let's build some blacksmith. so we must go as fast as possible to the castle age. Alright, so let's save another time.
Toho, bid fear.
Valgara, bonnet, bonnet.
Now that we're in the castle age, we'll be able to train more Gwyndia knights from our stables. They are expensive, but they are heavily armored and particularly strong against other cavalry. Lord Emyrian, Lord Geistrix, and King Wellon initiate dictate stuff. Okay, maybe we'll try a different approach.
Bid fear. Tol. Chart.
Nice.
Рабоге.
So they are scouting and soon will be attacked.
Ka Fiodke. Punit.
Kid Fiedega, Bid Fear.
Alright, they're starting the attack. Let's skill cast. Alright, let's skill cast them.
Raboye.
Because emergency action.
Toe.
Raboye.
Alright, survival.
Bit clear.
Kid Bid Fear. Bid Fear.
Alright, we're being attacked, but we're defending, so that is most important at the moment. Oh no.
Kia Bid Fear. Bunage.
Algra. Punit.
Erlov.
So put it to castle. Alright, get back.
Toe. Bit
Fear.
Kid.
Open.
Alright, we'll have the biggest problem with the lumber,
Kid
so let's put these two guys on the lumber.
Fear.
Alright, we have established a defense. Now we are boosting economy and continuing. All we need to build some monks to heal them.
Bunage. Raboye. Forgivega. Bid Fear.
Alright, they're attacking. So let's take those guys.
Fear.
Alright, we're defending ourselves. That is the most important thing. And
Erlov.
build a wheelbarrow.
Punit.
More on the lumber.
Forgere.
Alright, so let's
Raboye.
some houses. Alright, we have read the hints.
Пробуйте.
Bit fear.
Alright, so let's build some walls. Alright, let's build some.
Пробуйте.
We could build some skirms. And some like that perhaps.
Пробуйте.
Bit fear. Bit fear.
Athalen. Pробуйте. Пробуйте.
Alright.
Bonnet.
Bonnet.
We have problem with wood.
Erla.
We have to focus on finding wood economy. Alright. We have completed the basics of economy and we'll start to build universities and fortify our base. So let's say another time. So guys, this should be it for now and I see you guys next time.